Hey lady, don't you know these cars cost millions? Go take pictures from over there with the other regular people. Marcus says with a mean smile, making sure everyone can hear him. Sophia Chun walks away without argument, the whispers and chuckles following her like exhaust fumes. What the arrogant event director doesn't know is that tomorrow, those same manicured hands he dismissed will be holding the keys to a custom Bugatti worth more than his entire career, and the future of women's motorsport hangs in the balance. In her simple jeans and blazer, she slips through the exit doors, already mentally adjusting the Phoenix racing strategy. The championship is just 3 weeks away, and the data she couldn't get today might cost her team everything they fought for in a world that never believed they belonged. But first, she makes a single call to her husband. By this time tomorrow, everyone will know exactly who they turned away. With her brown hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, Sophia Chun looked nothing like the other women at the fancy Supercar show. Her plain blue jeans, white t-shirt, and worn sneakers stood out among the sparkly dresses and designer clothes. But Sophia didn't care about looking fancy. She cared about cars. The huge room was filled with the world's most expensive cars: Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and rare models worth millions of dollars. Bright lights made the shiny paint gleam like jewels. Men in expensive suits walked around talking about investments and limited editions, while taking pictures with models who posed by the cars. Sophia walked straight to the blue Koenigsegg in the corner. It wasn't just any supercar. It was the exact model her racing team needed to study. As the secret owner of Phoenix Racing, an all-women team that was shocking the racing world, Sophia needed to learn about this car's special features. "Excuse me," she said to the young man standing by the car. "Can you tell me about the downforce on this model when it hits 200 miles per hour on a curved track?" The representative looked surprised but happy to talk with someone who knew real car questions. "Actually, that's a great question. This model has a unique system that—" "Excuse me," a loud voice interrupted. Marcus Reynolds, the event manager with his slicked-back hair and shiny gold watch, stepped between them. "Is there a problem here?" "No problem," the representative said. She was asking about the performance specs. Marcus looked Sophia up and down, his eyes stopping at her sneakers. His mouth twisted into a smirk. "I see. And will you be purchasing this $3.2 million vehicle today? Or perhaps you'd like to see our keychains and posters for sale at the gift shop." Several people nearby chuckled. A woman in a red dress whispered to her friend while pointing at Sophia's old sneakers. "I'm interested in the car's racing capabilities," Sophia explained calmly, "particularly how it handles at high speeds." Marcus laughed. "Listen, honey, this isn't a public library. These cars are for serious buyers, not curious fans. The viewing area for regular folks is outside." Sophia felt her cheeks get warm, but she kept her face calm like she always did at important business meetings. A young staff member named Elena watched from nearby, looking uncomfortable. "I understand," Sophia said quietly. She turned and walked toward the exit, ignoring the whispers around her. What no one knew was that Sophia's phone had the direct number to James Chien, her husband and one of the richest tech inventors in the world. And tomorrow they would both be back. But not before she made an important call about her racing team's future. Sophia was halfway to the exit when Marcus's voice boomed through the exhibition hall. "Hold on a minute." She turned, hoping maybe he'd realized his mistake. Instead, Marcus was smiling like a cat who caught a mouse. He was walking toward her with quick steps, followed by 2 security guards in black suits. "Actually, I'm curious," he said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. "How exactly did you get in here? This is an invitation-only event." People started looking. A small crowd formed as Marcus stopped in front of Sophia. The room got quieter as people watched to see what would happen. "I registered online," Sophia answered simply. She took out her phone to show her ticket, but Marcus waved it away. Sure. But this event is for industry professionals and qualified buyers." He turned to the crowd with a big fake smile. "We occasionally get racing fans who think they can sneak in to take selfies with the cars." Some people laughed. A man with a champagne glass whispered to his friend, "Probably wants to post pictures and pretend she owns them." Sophia kept her voice steady. "I'm here for professional reasons. I'm interested in the technical aspects of the Koenigsegg." "Professional reasons?" Marcus repeated, making air quotes with his fingers. "Let me guess, you have a YouTube channel? Or maybe you're shopping for your boyfriend?" More laughter erupted. A woman with diamonds around her neck looked at Sophia's simple clothes and rolled her eyes. Sir, I just need to know about the handling capabilities for what? Marcus cut her off. Look, these cars cost more than most people make in 10 years. The Koenigsegg you were bothering my staff about costs $3.2 million. He spoke slowly like he was talking to a child. That's millions. With an M. Sophia felt her heart beating faster. Not because she was embarrassed, but because her racing team needed this information before their big race. Without it, they might lose their chance at making history. I understand the price, she said. No, I don't think you do, Marcus interrupted again. He turned to the security guards. Please escort this woman to the exit, and maybe check her bags to make sure she didn't pick up any souvenirs. The security guards moved toward her. From the corner of her eye, Sophia saw a young woman in a staff uniform. It was Elena, the assistant who had been standing near the Koenigsegg. She looked upset at how Sophia was being treated. That won't be necessary, Sophia said to the guards. I can find my way out. With her head held high, she walked to the door. Behind her, she could hear Marcus saying, Now, who wants to see the real star of our show, the new Lamborghini? Sophia pushed open the heavy glass doors and stepped outside into the sunshine. She took a deep breath and reached for her phone. Have you ever been judged by your appearance? Drop a comment below sharing your experience. Tell where you're from watching. I read every comment and respond to as many as I can. Sophia's hand stopped before she could pull out her phone. She took a deep breath and turned around. She wasn't going to leave without trying one more time. This wasn't just about her pride, it was about her team counting on her. She walked back inside, her sneakers squeaking slightly on the polished marble floor. Marcus was now standing by the red Lamborghini, surrounded by people in fancy clothes who were nodding at everything he said. Excuse me, Sophia said, approaching the group. Mr. Reynolds, could I speak with you for a moment? Marcus's smile dropped when he saw her. You're still here. A few people turned to stare at Sophia. She felt their eyes judging her simple ponytail and plainclothes, but she stood tall anyway. Yes. I wanted to explain why I need the information about the Koenigsegg, Sophia said calmly. It's important for my work. Marcus crossed his arms. Your work? And what exactly do you do that requires knowledge of multi-million-dollar hypercars? This was her chance. Sophia opened her mouth to explain about Phoenix Racing, but stopped herself. Experience had taught her that people like Marcus rarely believed women knew anything about racing, especially women who didn't fit their idea of what belonged in this world. I'm involved in motorsports, she said simply. A man in an expensive suit laughed. What, do you sell hot dogs at the track? More laughter followed. Sophia felt her cheeks burn but kept her voice steady. No, I work directly with a racing team that's competing in the International Championship next month. The information about the Koenigsegg's aerodynamics would help us with our vehicle design. Marcus raised an eyebrow. A racing team sent you? Dressed like that. He looked her up and down again. Which team would that be? Phoenix Racing, Sophia said. A flicker of recognition crossed Marcus's face. Phoenix Racing had been in the news lately as the underdog all-women team that was shocking everyone with their success. For a second, Sophia thought she might have gotten through to him. But then his smile returned, more mocking than before. Right. And I'm best friends with Lewis Hamilton, Marcus said. Listen, if Phoenix Racing wanted information, they would send someone official. Not someone who looks like they wandered in from the bus stop. The crowd around him chuckled again. A woman in high heels whispered, how embarrassing. Sir, I can prove, Sophia started. Enough. Marcus cut her off. His friendly act dropped completely. This is a private event for serious people who actually belong in this world, not for racing fans making up stories. He nodded to the security guards who had been watching nearby. Please remove her now and make sure she doesn't come back in. As the guards approached, Elena, the young staff member, stepped forward. Mr. Reynolds, maybe we should, Back to your post, Elena, Marcus snapped. Unless you want to join her outside. Elena's shoulders dropped. Sorry, sir, she mumbled, but gave Sophia a look of apology. This time, when the security guards took Sophia by the arms, she didn't resist. There was no point arguing further. You're making a mistake, was all she said as they led her to the exit. The only mistake was letting you in, Marcus called after her. Enjoy your bus ride home. The security guards didn't need to push Sophia out the door. She walked out on her own, her head held high even though her stomach felt tight with anger. The glass door swung shut behind her with a soft whoosh. Outside, the afternoon sun beat down on the parking lot filled with expensive cars. Sophia stood for a moment, taking slow deep breaths like she did before big meetings or race days. She wouldn't let Marcus Reynolds ruin her day or her plans. As she started walking toward her car, not a bus stop like Marcus had assumed, she heard quick footsteps behind her. "Wait! Please wait!" Sophia turned to see Elena, the young staff member, running after her. The girl's name tag bounced on her uniform as she hurried across the parking lot. "I'm so sorry about what happened in there," Elena said, slightly out of breath. "Mr. Reynolds shouldn't have treated you that way." Sophia smiled. "It's not your fault. It was awful what he said. And in front of everyone." Elena shook her head. "I almost quit on the spot." "Don't quit your job because of me," Sophia said. "Sometimes it's better to stay quiet and watch how people act when they think no one important is looking." Elena looked at Sophia more carefully. "You really are with Phoenix Racing, aren't you?" "I follow them, I mean you, on social media. What you're doing for women in racing is amazing." Sophia was surprised. "You know about Phoenix Racing?" "Of course. You're the first all-women team to qualify for the International Championship in 20 years. Elena's eyes were bright with excitement. "I'm studying mechanical engineering. I want to work in racing someday." Something about the young woman's enthusiasm reminded Sophia of herself years ago, before she had the money to start her own team. "Here," Elena said, pulling a business card from her pocket. "This has my email. And..." She quickly scribbled something on the back. "This is my personal number. I can send you the specs you were asking about. I have access to all the technical files." Sophia took the card. "Thank you, Elena. That's very kind." "It's nothing." Just Elena glanced back at the building. "I should get back before they notice I'm gone." As Elena turned to hurry back inside, Sophia called after her. "Why did you help me?" Elena paused. "Because I've been treated the same way. Not everyone in fancy clothes belongs there, and not everyone in regular clothes doesn't belong." With a quick wave, Elena disappeared back inside the exhibition hall. Sophia watched her go, then continued walking to her car, a simple gray Honda parked between a Ferrari and a Bentley. Once inside, she finally pulled out her phone. She had 3 missed calls from her racing team manager and a text from her husband, James. "How did it go? Did you get what we needed?" Sophia looked back at the gleaming exhibition center. Through the glass walls, she could see Marcus laughing with a group of rich-looking men. She dialed her husband's number. When he answered, she said only 6 words. "We need to change our plans." Sophia drove her simple Honda down the long winding driveway that led to her home. Though home didn't quite describe the glass and steel mansion overlooking the city. She parked between a vintage Porsche and a Tesla in the spacious garage that housed their personal collection of cars. As soon as she stepped inside, James Chun looked up from his laptop. Even in casual clothes, her husband looked like the billionaire tech genius he was, with his kind eyes behind stylish glasses. "That bad, huh?" he said, noting her expression. Sophia dropped her keys on the marble counter. "Worse." She walked to the large windows overlooking their backyard with its perfect view of the city below. On the walls hung framed photos of race cars with the Phoenix Racing logo, a bright orange bird rising from flames. In each photo, women in racing suits stood proudly by their cars. "They wouldn't even let me look at the Koenigsegg," Sophia said. "The manager, Marcus Reynolds, had security escort me out." James frowned. Because I wasn't wearing diamonds and designer clothes," Sophia said with a small laugh. "And because I'm a woman asking technical questions." "Did you tell them who you are?" James asked, coming to stand beside her. Sophia shook her head. "You know that's not how I work. Phoenix Racing needs to win on talent, not my money. If I start throwing our name around to get special treatment..." "It's not special treatment to be treated with basic respect," James interrupted gently. The big screen on the wall suddenly lit up with an incoming video call. Sophia tapped a button, and 3 women appeared on screen, her Phoenix Racing leadership team. "Sophia, did you get the specs?" asked Michelle, the head engineer. "Not exactly," Sophia replied. "They threw me out." "They what?" all 3 women said at once. "Apparently, I don't look like someone who belongs at a supercar exhibition," Sophia explained. "That's ridiculous," said Tanya, the team manager. "Don't they know who you are?" "No, and that's the point," Sophia said. "I didn't want to use my name or James's money to get information." I wanted to be treated like any professional. The problem is they don't treat all professionals equally, said James, joining the conversation. Especially not women in racing. We need those specs, Michelle said, looking worried. The championship is 3 weeks away, and we're up against teams with 10 times our budget. Sophia looked at the latest racing designs spread across the digital screen. Her team had worked so hard against all odds. They had the talent. They had the drive. What they didn't have was the information they needed to perfect their strategy. Maybe we should just buy a Koenigsegg, Tanya suggested with a laugh. Sophia and James looked at each other. A slow smile spread across Sophia's face. Actually, I have a better idea, she said. James, how do you feel about making an appearance at the exhibition tomorrow? James raised his eyebrows. Me? I thought you wanted Phoenix Racing to succeed without using our connections. This isn't about connections anymore, Sophia said, a determined look in her eyes. This is about something more important, changing how the racing world sees women. She turned back to her team on the screen. Don't worry, we'll get those specs. And maybe teach a certain event manager a lesson in the process. The women on screen grinned, knowing that when Sophia Chan set her mind to something, nothing could stop her. Sophia and James are planning something that will shake up the supercar world. Subscribe now to see what happens when they return to the exhibition. New videos every week about people who defy expectations. The next day, the supercar exhibition was even busier. People in expensive clothes crowded around the shiniest cars, taking pictures and talking about horsepower and price tags. Marcus Reynolds moved through the crowd like a king, shaking hands and laughing loudly. Nobody noticed when Elena, the young staff member, received a message on her radio. Her eyes widened as she listened, and she quickly hurried to the main entrance. Outside, a sound like rolling thunder made heads turn. A midnight blue Bugatti Mistral, one of only 99 ever made, glided toward the entrance. Its custom paint seemed to change color in the sunlight, shifting from deep blue to purple. The car alone was worth over $4 million, but it was what happened next that made security guards stand up straighter. 2 more cars followed, a limited edition Ferrari and a McLaren, each worth millions. As the small parade of supercars stopped at the entrance, people inside pressed against the windows to see who would step out. The driver's door of the Bugatti opened, and James Chen emerged. He was dressed simply but expensively in a black suit with no tie. The tech billionaire rarely made public appearances, which made his arrival even more remarkable. Whispers spread through the crowd. That's James Chen, the guy who invented that new battery technology. I heard he's worth $20 billion. What's he doing here? Marcus Reynolds nearly dropped his champagne glass when he heard the name. He rushed toward the entrance, straightening his tie. James walked around to the passenger side of the Bugatti and opened the door. When Sophia stepped out, wearing the exact same jeans, t-shirt, and sneakers as yesterday, Elena couldn't help but smile. Is everything ready? James asked Elena quietly. Elena nodded. Yes, sir. Everything's set up just like you asked. Inside, Marcus reached the door just as James and Sophia entered, hand in hand. For a second, Marcus didn't recognize Sophia in her simple clothes. Then his face turned pale. Mr. Chen, what an unexpected honor, Marcus said, his voice unnaturally high. He thrust out his hand for James to shake. Welcome to our exhibition. James ignored the outstretched hand. I believe you've already met my wife, Sophia. Marcus's smile froze. His eyes darted from James to Sophia and back again. Your wife, he stammered. Yes, James said calmly. The woman you had security escort out yesterday. The room had gone quiet. Everyone was watching now, sensing something big was happening. Marcus's forehead began to sweat. There must be some misunderstanding, he said quickly. We have strict security protocols and sometimes mistakes. It wasn't a mistake, Sophia said, speaking for the first time. You said I didn't belong here, that I should enjoy my bus ride home. Several people in the crowd gasped. A woman in designer clothes whispered, that's James Chen's wife? She owns Phoenix Racing. Marcus's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Mrs. Chen, I had no idea who you were. If you had simply said, why should she have to? James interrupted. Does someone need to be a billionaire's wife to be treated with respect? The question hung in the air. Marcus had no answer. Now, Sophia said, her voice steady and clear, I'd like to see that Koenigsegg. My racing team needs the information. Elena stepped forward with a tablet. I have everything ready for you, Mrs. Chen. As Sophia and Elena walked toward the Koenigsegg display, the crowd parted like the Red Sea. James stayed behind, facing Marcus with a calm but serious expression. "Mr. Reynolds," he said quietly, "we need to talk about respect." The crowd followed at a distance as Sophia and Elena examined the Koenigsegg. No one dared approach them now. Meanwhile, James led Marcus to a quiet corner of the exhibition hall away from eager ears. "Mr. Chen, I cannot express how sorry I am for this misunderstanding," Marcus said, his voice shaking slightly. "If I had known who your wife was, That's exactly the problem," James interrupted. "Why should it matter who she is?" Marcus blinked, confused. "Well, of course it matters. Mrs. Chen is an important person in the racing world. And if she wasn't?" James asked. "If she was just a woman who loves cars and knows more about them than most men here? Would that make her less deserving of respect?" Before Marcus could answer, Sophia and Elena returned from the Koenigsegg display. "I have what I need," Sophia said to James. She turned to Elena with a smile. "Thank you for your help." Marcus jumped in. "Mrs. Chen, please allow me to personally show you our other exclusive models. We have a Pagani arriving later today that very few people will get to see." "Actually," Sophia said, "I'd like to address something first." She turned to face the crowd that had gathered around them. Despite her simple clothes and lack of makeup, she suddenly commanded the room's attention. "For those who don't know me, I'm Sophia Chen, founder and principal investor of Phoenix Racing." A murmur went through the crowd. Phoenix Racing had been making headlines as the all-women team that was changing motorsports. "Yesterday, I came here looking for technical information to help my team prepare for the International Championship," Sophia continued. "I was denied access, mocked, and escorted out. Not because I didn't have the right credentials, but because I didn't look the part." People shifted uncomfortably, especially those who had laughed at her the day before. "The racing world has a problem," Sophia said. "We judge expertise by appearance. We assume women don't understand engines or aerodynamics. We create invisible barriers that keep talented people out." She looked directly at Marcus. "And you, Mr. Reynolds, are part of that problem." Marcus's face flushed red. "Mrs. Chen, I've already apologized." "You apologize because my husband is James Chen," Sophia cut him off. "Not because what you did was wrong." The silence in the room was absolute. "Phoenix Racing is competing in the championship in 3 weeks," Sophia continued. "We're the first all-women team to qualify in 20 years. Many people think we don't belong there, just like you thought I didn't belong here." James stepped forward. "We came here today not just to get information for the team, but to show everyone that old attitudes need to change." Marcus looked trapped. Event sponsors and important guests were watching. His job was on the line. "What can I do to make this right?" he finally asked. Sophia exchanged glances with Elena, who was watching with wide eyes. "You can start by recognizing talent regardless of appearance," Sophia said. "Elena here knows more about these cars than most of your staff. Yet she's still just passing out brochures instead of giving technical presentations." Elena looked shocked to be mentioned. And Sophia added, "You can join us next week at Phoenix Racing headquarters. See how an all-women team is changing the racing world. Maybe it will change your perspective too." Marcus nodded quickly, eager to save face. "Of course. I would be honored." Sophia turned to the crowd. "The future of motorsport isn't just in these amazing machines. It's in the people we allow to be part of it." With that, she took James's hand and started walking toward the exit. "Wait!" Marcus called after them. "You're leaving already?" Sophia looked back with a small smile. "We got what we came for." And this time, when she walked out the door, everyone watched with respect. 3 weeks later, the stands roared as Phoenix Racing took their position at the International Championship. On the sidelines, Elena stood in a Phoenix Racing uniform, now working as a junior engineer thanks to Sophia's recommendation. Beside her was Marcus Reynolds, looking completely different from the arrogant manager at the exhibition. For the past weeks, he had been visiting Phoenix Racing headquarters, seeing firsthand how Sophia's team of brilliant women worked against all odds. "They're going to do it," Elena said excitedly as the Phoenix car took a perfect turn. "They're actually going to win." Marcus nodded, his face serious. "And to think I almost kept them from getting the information they needed." When the race ended, Phoenix Racing made history 3rd place, the highest ever finish for an all-women team. Cameras flashed as Sophia and her team celebrated on the podium. Later, at the victory party, Sophia found Marcus standing awkwardly in a corner. "I want to thank you," he said when she approached. "These past weeks have changed how I see everything. I didn't do it to punish you, Sophia explained. I did it because sometimes we need to see a different world to understand our own. Marcus nodded. I've already made changes at the exhibition. We've hired 4 women on our technical team. And Elena's replacement is a girl who loves cars but never thought she belonged in our world. And the bus stop comments? Sophia asked with a small smile. Gone forever, Marcus promised. Now I look for knowledge, not designer labels. Across the room, James raised his glass in a silent toast to his wife. Sophia had done more than win a race. She had started changing the motorsport world, one person at a time. And she had done it all in jeans and sneakers,